Thanks. Welcome everybody to our admin meeting for Tuesday, October 17th. Who is going to do our roll call today? Oh, there's Annie right there.
Good morning, commissioners. It looks like online we have myself, Annie Cathy, and let's see, Annie Cathy, Ann Hughes is online in 206, Kevin Heisler, Kyla Leonards, Melissa Fisher, Shane Stack, Cindy Kennedy, Martin Kitston, MCAT in 206. I see Commissioners Strohmeyer, Vero, and Slotnick, Ann Hughes, Chris, do I see Chris Lansbury? No, Brian West.
I'm here, Annie.
Oh, Chris Lansbury, thank you. Carrie Powers, Allison France, and Emmy Bristow. Did I miss anybody?
I'm impressed you could see that.
Okay, before we dive in, do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll jump right to the consent agenda. Is there anything at consent agenda anybody wants to pull out and talk about?
We approve the consent agenda.
Second, thank you.
All right, any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, nice. Just
That was very aggressive.
so good on the consent agenda.
Check it off.
Okay, Cindy Kennedy, you're up first.
Good morning, commissioners. Can you hear me and see me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
A little muffled, but we can hear you.
Oh, well,
You're
let me
okay.
know if that gets to be problematic. I'm not sure what I'll do, but I'll try something different. It might be battery power, who knows. So this is really more of a discussion item than an action item, but I just wanted to let you know that Missoula County utilized our EPA Brownfields Assessment Grant to perform an environmental site assessment and hazardous building materials investigation of the Missoula local government building. Formerly known as the federal building, we're trying not to use the term federal building because EPA funding cannot be utilized on federally owned properties. And obviously it's not federally owned, but we're just trying to get away from using that term. So the Missoula local government building. The results revealed asbestos and lead-based paint, among other hazardous building materials like mercury in old thermostats and light tubes and PCBs in old light ballasts. These contaminants must be abated before proceeding with building renovations. And the city of Missoula will be utilizing their Brownfields Revolving Loan Fund, also EPA funding, to support the costs of cleanup. But before proceeding with that process, Missoula County's contracted service provider, which is Newfields, prepared an analysis of brownfields cleanup alternatives, which is abbreviated as ABCA. The ABCA has been published on the Engage Missoula page and is open for public comment. That started on October 6th. It'll last for 30 days and end November 6th. And the ABCA recommends 4 alternatives, starting with doing nothing, to abating all contaminants, including all lead-based paint. Newfields, who prepared the ABCA, is recommending abating all asbestos, PCB, and mercury-containing materials, and abating predominant lead-based paint on moving features like windows and doors and any walls that will be removed. Right now, they're not recommending abating all lead-based paint because that is not necessary unless walls are removed. And this meets federal and state requirements. However, more discussion will happen with the architects and general contractors, as well as fielding public comment before a final decision on exactly everything that'll be cleaned up will be made. And depending on the level of lead-based abatement, the cost could range from $540,000 to a little over $650,000. So with that, are there any questions?
I'm sorry, that's $540,000 to $650,000.
Yeah.
Would be for what? Just
For everything.
okay.
Yeah.
For all the
All the
lead,
abatement.
mercury, all the things. Okay.
And that's all federal funding. None of that comes from property taxes, right?
Thank you. Alice is asking a pertinent question.
And that's being covered via the city's brownfields revolving loan fund.
Correct.
But is it really
And
a
it-
loan?
It's
I mean,
not.
how does, it's not.
In this
Okay,
case,
it's
it
just
can be
a
a grant.
loan and
yeah.
name only.
A grant.
Loan and name only.
That's what we like.
Those loans, that fund, interestingly, can be used as a grant for nonprofits. It's typically only used as a loan for for-profit organizations.
Okay, great.
We are not a profit making.
That's-
That's the caveat.
Good news.
Okay,
Okay, that's a great update. Thank you.
thanks for the update. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Do, thanks. All right, Shane, gonna talk about Rock Creek.
Actually, yeah, Josh, I've got the next three items and I think they'll probably be relatively quick. So the first one is Rock Creek Safety Project, Montana Department of Transportation through their Highway Safety Improvement Program. Evaluated, I think the entirety of Rock Creek Road, and came up with a signing solution, if you will, to try to address run off the road type crashes. And a majority of this project is located in Granite County, although a small portion is in Missoula County. We need an agreement with MDT for them to move forward with the HSIP project in the Missoula County, and essentially would just be installing a handful of signs, warning motorists of upcoming curves. Our responsibility with that is simply to maintain the signs. So we get free signs, we just need to maintain them. Pretty simple.
Hey, I move that we,
Oh, I thought we were doing, sorry.
oh,
I didn't-
them all, or,
Which do you,
no, I move that we approve and sign the MOA.
Second.
MOA.
second,
All right, any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right, the next item is for an application for a raise grant. So the actual item is to sign a professional services agreement with DJ&A for them to help us develop a grant application for the RAISE program. The project is to replace 5 bridges in the Potomac, Sealy, and Swan area. Three of those bridges are load posted. The other 2, one of them was scheduled to be replaced, I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, and funding fell through on that project, and it just made sense because of the location to include it in this bundle of bridges. And then Cold Creek is another one. We've been actually the last 2 FLAP applications we've applied and not received funding, so we figured we'd try RAISE with this last one. So the contract with DJ&A is for $16,000. The ask for RAISE is probably going to be in the neighborhood of about 20 million. And then received unofficial word from MDT that we've been selected to receive $1 million as part of match through the Senate Bill 536 funding. So for $16,000 in our local funds, we have the potential to receive in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 million.
21 million.
Yeah, pretty good.
repeat that again. You got garbled at the end. Louder for the folks in the back.
Yeah, Martin too.
For a little over $16,000, we are potentially able to receive up to 20 to 25 million dollars in federal funds. So I think it's a good investment in services through DJ&A. So
Yeah, man, bridges are very, very expensive. It's
yeah, Josh, maybe I'll run through the list of bridges really quick. Just
yeah,
so
that'd be great. Thank you.
Sunset Hill Road Bridge in Potomac area. Riverview is in Sealy, and then Boy Scout Bridge, which just was load posted at 3 tons. And if we go lower than 3 tons, we've got to close the bridge. So we're on the cusp of a bridge closure on that one. Glacier Creek in Condon, that bridge, we've got a pile that's been damaged, and the bridge is old and needs to be replaced. We're actually working with MDT on a potentially for a quick fix on that one. But in the event that falls through, the bigger goal is to just replace that structure. Again, that one's load posted, and then Cold Creek Bridge in Condon.
Great.
I move that the board approve and sign the PSA with DGNA.
Second. Any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Shane. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's be a big deal.
I've got one more quick one on the theme of bridges. In the Rattlesnake area, just north of the Rattlesnake School, there's a small pedestrian structure that crosses Rattlesnake Creek. It's got some old wooden railing that will need to be replaced here soon. So we've got a contract with DGNA to evaluate that railing and come up with basically kind of like a 15% design or preliminary engineering report for the replacement of that railing. We would essentially use that information to then apply for transportation alternative funds to replace that railing. So the contract would be just a little under $7,000. The nice thing is we'll be prepared for TA for the next round and be able to submit a good application.
Surprised that anything can be accomplished in a budget this low. So it's great. I would move that we approve and sign the PSA.
Second.
Any public comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Is Brian presenting this next one? Are you?
Yeah, so Brian is actually going to talk about this because we have both a combination of needing to have a discussion about litigation strategy and for you to potentially vote on a resolution related to the decisions you make in that litigation strategy. So I'll let Brian set it up.
What we'd like to do is combine action item number 5 along with discussion item number 1. Discussion item number 1 is going to deal with the local lawsuit, the state of Montana. We have public agencies involved that will not be closing any part of that session. However, with regards to number 5, we will be discussing the lawsuit that's pending at the Montana State Supreme Court, and portions of that may be closed for litigation strategy. Okay.
All right.
So let me kind of break this out. We have 2 pending litigation items. First and foremost is the state of Montana versus Missoula County, DV 23994. That is a lawsuit that was filed on October 2nd, which actually precedes the county's actions regarding mill levy authority. Once the county passed a resolution on Thursday, October 5th, the county was served with that lawsuit. And so we are in theory in litigation with the state of Montana. That is a deck action. And then basically what I'm telling the commission is what you already know from the news reports. The state of Montana is asking one of our local judges to make a legal determination about whether or not the Department of Revenue's calculations for mills are correct, or whether or not MACO's and Missoula counties is correct. We also.
Do you know who the judge is?
Currently is pending for Judge Halligan.
Okay, thanks.
After this lawsuit was initiated, the Montana Quality Education Coalition filed an original proceeding with the Montana State Supreme Court. That's OP 230592. That action is a writ of mandamus, which is a writ of mandamus is seeking a court to order a public officer or a public entity to do what they're legally obligated to do, to follow some sort of course of action that is clearly spelled out in law. That lawsuit was filed naming effectively the 46 counties who had passed the same mill resolution. All right, here's where I need to kind of break these 2 out. Let me talk first about the local litigation with the state of Montana, and then we'll talk separately about the Montana Quality Education Coalition lawsuit. In both situations, we have been discussing with MACO more or less joint representation. This is the part of the discussion where I usually advise the commission that our office is prepared to defend the county and will take the case up and do all the legal work. Because of the nature of the questions involved in both of these cases, it has been, I think, somewhat advantageous to discuss with Crowley Fleck. Mike Green has been retained by MACO to handle the state litigation in the writ lawsuit. And we're talking with them further about the defense in this local lawsuit and the state lawsuit. What I'm going to tell the commission for the purposes of the open meeting with regards to the local lawsuit, the deck action with the state of Montana, is our intent is to, through a variety of mechanisms, ensure that it gets either combined with or held off until the state Supreme Court can make some sort of determination. Correct. These are statewide issues, and there's really not a lot of benefit to any sort of local litigation making a determination, which, to be frank, whatever the outcome is before Judge Halligan, would likely be appealed by the losing party. If it is going to end up in the state Supreme Court, then from our perspective, either utilizing Mr. Green's resources or utilize our own office resources, we're much more beneficial getting this before the state Supreme Court as rapidly as possible because of the statewide ramifications. And so for the purposes of the local lawsuit, our intent is to, through whatever mechanism, either by joint stipulation of the state of Montana or by some other sort of filing before the judge, to either join it with a statewide action or alternatively to hold it in abeyance until we can have that ruling from the state Supreme Court, which will more or less resolve the question pending before the judge. Any questions about the state level lawsuits?
That makes good sense.
Okay. Or excuse me, I said the state level lawsuit, I meant the local lawsuit. So at that point, I'd like to shift gears and discuss what is actually item number 5, and that is the Montana Quality Education Coalition versus the swath of counties who've taken this. And because I would like to speak with the commission about litigation strategy, I'd recommend that we close the meeting for that discussion.
So moved.
So, yeah, so I'll go ahead and mute and camera off the public meeting because you will eventually have to come back into the public meeting to vote on this. And then anybody who's not involved in the litigation strategy will need to step out of the room here.
Okay, commissioners, now that we have reviewed your legal options with regards to OP 230592, you have before you a resolution. This would be a resolution to join in with MACO and other similarly situated counties and to utilize MACO's retention of Carly Fleck and Mike Green to defend OP 230592. And before you take that vote, I'm going to briefly summarize going back again. We have State of Montana versus Missoula County and DV 23994 pending locally here in Missoula County. Our intent, if our office does the representation or if we utilize perhaps an extended agreement with Mike Green, is to either hold that lawsuit in abeyance or alternatively find some through stipulation or court order to join it with the state level determination. What that outcome is, I do not know, but our intent is to address these more or less jointly, and you will have the decision if you want to have the unified defense with MACO as part of the state level defense.
Thanks. Any questions out there?
Why would we not want to be unified?
Stubborn. We thought maybe we could do a better job, but I don't think there's any way we can do a better job. And this is a statewide thing. All these counties are in it together. We should be in it with everybody, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just trying to think of that. There's any other.
Sure. Look under every stone.
I move that we approve and sign the resolution.
Second.
All right, any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner. Martin, does that all make sense? There's Mud. Martin's out.
Martin left. Now
There's Mud. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that is our last item.
Okay, great. One small communication thing, like I was